A fatal police shooting in Minneapolis is making headlines not only in the United States, but also in Australia because it involved a woman who came here to the United States from Australia in order to marry her fiance. Justine Damond was her name, and she was a yoga and meditation teacher. And this case is very, very low on details. Very little details have been reported by the cops involved, and people are extremely upset and angry about how this situation went down. But here's what we do know. She actually called the cops for help because she believed that there was a possible assault in the alley near her home. The call for help came in just before 11 p.m. Saturday night. 2 Minneapolis Police Department officers went to an alley near her home in the Fulton neighborhood. Now, 3 people with knowledge of the incident told the Star Tribune that the responding officers pulled into the alley behind Damond's home. The woman, who was wearing pajamas, approached the driver's side door and was talking to the driver. The officer in the passenger seat shot Damond through the driver's side door, the 3 people told the newspaper. So we don't know what prompted them to do that. What we do know is that she is not a violent person, she did not have a gun, and she was the person who called the cops to report a possible assault in the alley.
Okay, think about how dangerous that is. Not only are you shooting and killing someone, that used to be a really, really important thing back in the day, but you're also shooting through your partner.
I know.
To hit her, okay? But in Minneapolis, we know that there are no consequences for cops killing people. So Philando Castiles was just shot and killed. We saw it on tape. We saw what happened, and the officer was told, "Hey, I have a legal gun. Don't worry. Make sure you get it, etc." And he shot and killed the guy anyway, and he got away with it. Totally acquitted. So cops think. I mean, I guess the downside is somebody's dead, whatever. But I'm never going to get punished. Now, did the guy consciously think that? We don't know yet, right? And I'm sure the cops are busy grilling him right now as we speak because they love to grill their own. They don't care about the blue line at all. They just treat them as common criminals when they kill citizens. / they never do that. Anyway, but in the back of his mind, all the cops know I will almost never suffer any consequences. Like shooting someone used to be a gigantic deal. And this is why we told you in other stories. People are starting to worry about calling the cops.
Yeah, I think, look, there are so many negative ramifications to stories just like this one. There's this distrust of cops, and that, unfortunately works as a negative for good cops out there, law-abiding cops who actually do want to protect and serve. And so every once in a while when you come across a story where there's someone who's innocent but they run away from the cops and then that leads to a shooting, people will say, like, why are they running away from the cops? What's the issue? If they're not guilty of anything, why would they run away? And it's because of this distrust. People are fearful. People don't want to call cops for help. And it's because of really tragic stories like this one. Now, again, we don't know what kind of words were exchanged. We don't know what happened. Again, very little details to this story as of now.
She might have disrespected one of them.
Who knows what happened? But obviously we don't ever agree that disrespecting a cop warrants them shooting and killing someone. Now, here's another element to the story that's, in my opinion, very interesting. So neither of the responding officers had turned on their body cameras before the shooting. The squad car camera did not capture the incident either.
What an unbelievable coincidence. I bet that'll make accountability easy. Oh, no, it'll make it super hard. And given the track record of cops getting acquitted on charges with no video at all, it'll be just their word against no one because the other person is dead. Dead men tell no tales. So what a shocking coincidence. They're all supposed to have their body cameras on. After the Philando Castiles shooting, it is mandatory that they have their body cameras on. But golly gee willikers, they say they didn't have them on.
Also, please keep in mind that she is at least the 23rd woman fatally shot by an officer this year, and that only accounts for over 4% of all fatal police shootings this year alone. So usually these police shootings disproportionately impact males. But one thing that I do really want to bring up, and I think it's important, is that oftentimes when we talk about the issue of police brutality, because of the fact that it disproportionately impacts minorities, it turns into a race issue, right? A racial issue. And one thing that I've said over and over again, and I really want to reiterate it right now. It goes further than a race issue. Yes, it disproportionately impacts minorities, but it impacts every single one of us. When we embolden bad cops to behave this way, when we let them get away with this type of behavior, it doesn't just impact people that you don't care about and you don't think about. It impacts every single one of us. This is an Australian woman, okay, who teaches meditation and yoga here in the United States. She was known as a loving person, a caring person, a passionate person, not a violent person at all. People are reeling about this story and they're angry. And what's interesting is everyone's angry. No one's looking at her record and talking about, oh, but maybe she smoked marijuana once and maybe that justifies his behavior. No one's talking about that. This was, from what we know so far, an unjustified murder of a woman. And the same is true of all the other minorities that we covered. Again, this impacts every single one of us. We need to reel these cops back in, do better training, and actually punish them when they murder and kill unarmed individuals.
And so whether it's murder will be adjudicated, maybe if they ever go to court, but it is shooting and killing someone, there's no question about that. And to Anna's point, Nikema Levy-Pounds says, look, when we were saying that they are doing this to our fathers, our sons, our brothers, sisters, and mothers, what we were trying to tell you is if they do this to us, they will do to you next. You know that old poem about first they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist. I'm both going to be softer and tougher on the cops. I don't know if the guy who shot Philando Castile is a bad guy. I don't know if the guy who shot Justine Damond in this case is a bad person. What I'm worried about is the training. They're telling the cops, be afraid of everything. Never, ever, ever take a risk of anything ever hurting you. Protecting the citizens is like your 187th priority, okay? Protecting you is 1 through 186. Oh, my job's to get home at night. No, it's not. It's actually literally not your job. Your job is to protect the community. That's why we gave you a gun and a badge. So of course, and there's guns everywhere, to be fair to the cops. So what happens? This is what we told you would happen. They shoot, and then on top of that, we say, don't worry, you'll almost never go to prison for shooting someone if you're a cop. So you have now incentivized them to shoot people because there's no consequences. And you train them that they should be scared of everything and not care about the citizens. And yes, you did. It is the training. By the way, her stepson to be, the person she was about to get married. Her stepson, of course, loved her and said, "quote America sucks."
Actually, we have his video and it's really powerful. Can we toss it up for a second? Let's go to the video.
My mom is dead because the police officer shot her for reasons I don't know, and I demand answers. And if anybody can help, just call the police and demand answers. I'm so done with all this violence. It's so much bullshit. America sucks. These cops need to get trained differently.
Zach, can you share
I need to move out of here
about the situation?
I just know that she heard a sound in the alley, so then she called the police. And the cops showed up. And she was a very passionate woman. And she probably, she thought there was like something bad was happening, and then next thing I know, they take my best friend's life. So I'm just done.
And
the police,
Zach, you've
some
been
of you
trying
are
to get
good,
in
but like I'm
contact
just
with
done.
The police,
I'm so done.
They're not answering your questions.
This has to stop. This has to stop.
So I'm sure that there'll be a lot of right-wingers who go, I can't believe he said F the police. How dare he? And he said America sucks. Doesn't he know we're number one? How would you react if they killed your mom? So easy to criticize when your mom's not dead in an alleyway because she mistakenly thought the cops would help her. And even in the midst of his anger and his grief, he said it's not all the cops, right? Which of course it's not. But we're training them wrong, and he said that, and that's like 100% right. So we have to go back to freeze, you're under arrest. We have to go back to take a second before you shoot and kill someone and end their life. We have to go back to the citizens' lives matter. They matter. The cop lives are not the only thing that matters. Of course we care about cops, they're human beings. But we also care about all of the citizens. So it's gross.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because I saw a couple reports, and I mean, one from Daily Mail, and I saw other outlets. The identity of the officer, he's apparently a Somali American, first officer to serve in this precinct. His name is Mohammed Noor, and he only had 2 years of experience. So a lot of people are chalking up saying, oh, this is an inexperienced cop, and he needs maybe more training, and they don't know what happened. So
no, he needs less training.
So this, now, because we know the lines of what usually happens, or what we hear the majority of the time, as Anna pointed out, disproportionately happens, we'll see where this one falls into.
No, that's a super interesting question.
It is interesting because races are reversed in this case.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
And the guy who shot him is Muslim. So look, we are 1,000% consistent. You got to get better training on the cops. So, and when I say better, I don't mean get them even more nervous. And when and all the trainings around, you're gonna get shot any second. Whenever you see anybody, they're about to shoot you. Just put them down first. Put them down, right? Instead of doing that kind of training, I don't need more of that training. That's what gets people killed. Okay, teach them, these are your citizens. Your job is to protect them, okay? Your job's not to kill them, it's to protect them. And actually, you have a really dangerous and hard job because you have to risk your life to protect them. So I'm just as furious about this story as any of the cop shootings. But it'll be interesting to see the right-wing reaction, because in this case, it's a white woman who's shot, and apparently a black Muslim cop who shot her. So we'll see if all of a sudden they're like, well, I mean, this one was bad. I mean, not the other ones, but this one. Okay, we'll see. I don't want to prejudge that. Just look at the comments down below.
Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.